Hey, what's up you guys? Just gonna do a little quick video here. It's kind of a little vlog, whatever. I'm gonna be talking about how this book I just finished. Also, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z right now, which is getting really good. Also, I did not post the last episode's reaction video because I did not do it. Because reason is, I was sick, really sick. I think it came down with the flu. It was not fun. I ended up giving it to my boyfriend, so oh well. Anyways, that happened. So yeah, and I recently started a new job, which is amazing, by the way. Stress-free. I'm so glad, and things are kind of, looking up a little bit. Now I just want to talk about this book that I just finished reading. It's called Cress. Stupid iPhone camera it's backwards, but I don't know. Anyways, I really love this book. It's the third book to the Lunar Chronicles, and I'll tell you about the plot of the actual series. What I've read so far, which is Cinder and Scarlet. Cinder is the first book, Scarlet is the second one, and Cress is the third. It says here Fairest, you can't see it, but the Fairest is the fourth book, and I think there's like 2 more books after that. Well, the plot of it is basically our princess stories, but reimagined. Cinder is Cinderella, obviously, but her name is Lynn Cinder. She's a cyborg. And I think it takes place in the future, after like so many wars or something. And New Beijing, that's where it's located. So they have like this whole Commonwealth like thing. It's run by a king, an emperor, which, by the way, is very handsome. She's a mechanic cyborg, and one day the Prince Kaito, I think that's his name, he ends up like needing an android fixed, and he meets her, which is, I don't know. It's always with these books, love at first sight, I guess. But anyways, that's what happens. Like she claims, she's like, I'm not affected of it, but she is. Of course she's gonna be affected by it. He's the prince. What girl in the right mind won't be affected by a prince? That happens. Turns out there's these moon people from the moon. They're called lunar. They're called lunars, and apparently Queen Lavanna, she is, I think that's how you pronounce it. She is the queen of the lunars, and apparently she's kind of like very cruel. Oh, I'm forgetting something. Lunars can manipulate bioelectricity of someone. I think the way they describe it is that every human or every being has bioelectricity. They're able to manipulate that. So basically they can manipulate that, and they can like control people, which is pretty awesome. Well, cruel in a sense, because these lunars they use it for selfish means, for dominance, establishing dominance against the human race. Well, Queen Lavanna, the only way to create a peaceful partnership, I guess, with the humans, treaty, there you go, peaceful treaty, is either she marries the emperor, which is Prince Kai's dad, but he ends up getting sick, which is another thing I forgot to mention. The people of Earth are being affected by a plague that is that Lunars brought here. That it wasn't, they aren't able to get sick, they're immune to it, but they were able to pass it on to the human race. So, you know, the human race is fucked, in a sense. So that happened. And he ends up getting sick, he ends up dying. So Prince Kaito, he's fucked. He's gonna be the emperor, you know. And right when he's emperor, she starts demanding, you know, this marriage alliance. And she threatens that if she doesn't get it, she's gonna wage war on the human race. So of course he ends up, like, you know, saying, fuck it, I'll marry you. And but, you know, aside from all that, you know, he talks about how he's been wanting the lost princess to, you know, try to find her. Apparently she's rightful heir to the crown, and Queen Lavanna is just I don't know how she ended up getting the throne, but Princess Celine, I think that's her name, she's the rightful heir. And Kai wanted to find her so they can dethrone Queen Lavanna. Of course, Queen Lavanna, when she is so cruel. What she did, Princess Celine, she was a baby. She was like a baby, and she burned her alive. That's how cruel she was. And Lunars who believed in the princess, they found her, revived her, and sent her to Earth to hide from her. And of course, no one knows where she's at. So hence why Kai wants to look for her. Anyways, this whole thing is such a mouthful. Well, that happens, but he also is, like, you know, seeing Cinder on the side and, like, you know, becoming friends with her, but then he ends up having feelings for her. And but he does not know she's a cyborg. She kept that from him. And Queen Lavanna, she can recognize Lunars, and without a glamour too. They can glamour themselves and disguise themselves. But so she can see him. And Cinder, at the end of the book, she goes to this ball that Kai and Lavanna are attending, and she runs the risk of this. She ends up finding she's Lunar. Cinder is. Cinder discovers that she is Lunar, and she didn't know that. She just thought she was just, you know, half human, half cyborg. But that's what happens. And so she goes to this ball, and she runs the risk of, you know, Queen Lavanna, like, killing her. And just to tell Kai that if he marries her, she's gonna kill him and take over the human race. So that's what happens. And book 2, Scarlet, it takes place with her perspective. Scarlet is equivalent to the Red Riding Hood. She has red, you know, curls and stuff. And the person that she falls in love with his name is Wolf. And he is a lunar, bioengineered creature. He's originally lunar, but Queen Lavanna ran experiments to get these lunars to become more wolf-like. Well, she ends up falling in love with him too. And the whole thing with Scarlet's story is that her grandmother is the one that housed and hid Princess Celine. So she didn't know that, but her grandmother was kidnapped. So she is looking for her grandmother. She ends up finding her with all these lunar, that I can't even say it, but they're lunar ranks, like they're higher ups, like basically the lunar Queen Lavanna's guard or something. Well, they can manipulate the wolf into turning into this beast-like wolf that has no control, so they can do that. Along the way, they find Cinder, because Cinder, she discovers she's lunar, but also she discovers that she's Princess Celine. She didn't know that until a doctor that is lunar helped her. He helps her escape prison, because when the whole ball thing happened, she ends up becoming in prison because Kai is like, you're cyborg and a lunar. So, I mean, it kind of sucks. The person that you love turns out to be someone you can't trust. So, anyways, he helps her escape from prison, and she meets along the way Thorn Carswell. He is a known criminal, but he's a sweetheart though. So, she escapes with him because he's the pilot and she doesn't know how to pilot anywhere, and that is that. So she is going to look for Michelle Benoit. Michelle Benoit is Scarlett's grandmother. Scarlett's grandmother is kidnapped. So she is going to look for her, blah, blah, blah. And then they meet Cinder along the way. And she discovers that her grandmother just died. And then Cinder went to Michelle Benoit's farmland or farm, whatever, and she discovers that the room she was in, she was since she is Princess Celine, she didn't have any memories till she was like 11, and of course she was badly burned because of Queen Lavanna, so they had to make her cyborg. Along with the cyborg equipment that she has is installed in her body, it masked all her power that she was able to use, her lunar power, and so she wasn't able to use it. That's why she didn't know she was lunar. So that happens, and they end up picking up Scarlett and Wolf. Now jump into Cress, this book right here. Cress is this girl. She is Queen Lavanna's personal hacker. She hacked all the Commonwealth's like security systems, was able to spy on Kai, spy on all the world leaders, and for Queen Lavanna. But she was taken hostage. She didn't have a choice. She really didn't have a choice. So she contacts Cinder, and of course she knows who Cinder is because it's all over the news feeds of she's a wanted criminal. She contacts Cinder, and she asks them to come pick her up because she is imprisoned in the satellite that's orbiting Earth, and she is not able to leave it, and she's like equivalent to Rapunzel, I guess, because she had really long hair. She was stuck in the satellite, and she is lunar. Oh, well, she's a lunar, but she's a shell. A shell means that she doesn't have the regular lunar powers of like bioelectricity manipulations. So she was practically useless until they discovered that she was able to hack security systems and become, useful to the crown. That happens, and for some reason they end up getting attacked by her mistress, which is like her hostage, and end up becoming a trap. And her and Thorne, she falls in love with Thorne Carswell without even knowing him, because she researched him a lot. She becomes obsessed with him. But when she finally got to talk to him and actually spend time with him, she was, he's very cocky, and I love that about him. He's very cocky. So they end up like falling. The satellite ends up crashing to Earth, and she's like, oh my god, like somehow something just like hits Thorne and he becomes like blind. And like it's funny because he's like, you need to turn on the lights, and Cress is like, you know, it's broad daylight, guy, like your eyes are wide open. He's like, god damn it. He is blind. So he's not able to regain his eyesight until the doctor who helped Cinder comes along in the story later on. And turns out Cress is actually the daughter of the doctor, and he didn't know this until like he apparently bought her from these, you know, humans. They were trading or whatever, illegal trading of shell people. I don't know. That's later on in the story, where when Thorne and Cress end up like surviving the crash, and they cross the Sahara. They're in Africa, and they cross the Sahara desert, and they find these people that are like, you know, being nice to them. Turns out one of the people ends up being like those traders, and they end up kidnapping her and selling her to the doctor. And the doctor finds out that she is his daughter by doing a blood DNA sample. And the only reason he was doing that was because he needed lunar blood or shell blood to try to come up with an antidote to the plague. It's starting to mutate. The plague starts to mutate, so it can affect lunars now. And meanwhile, Cinder, she loses Scarlet. One of Cress's mistresses or bosses, or the hostages, ends up kidnapping Scarlet. Now Wolf was badly injured, and so that's how the doctor plays in. She's like, well, we need to go to Africa because, you know, he's the only doctor she can trust. So they end up going to Africa to talk to the doctor or whatever, to have him fix him, and they end up doing that. So the only thing is that every time they land, they end up like freaking almost getting arrested. That sucks really bad. Technically, Thorne and Cress end up falling in love, and the end of the story, they're trying to prevent the wedding from happening, so they crash the wedding. Technically, Cinder kidnaps Kai, and it's so fucking funny because he's like, oh my god, Cinder, you should not be here. And like she starts like saying, dude, we need to go, like I have a plan, trust me. And he's like, no, and being, you know, stubborn, like royalness, and oh my gosh. Cinder, by the way, she starts to use her gift more, her powers. She starts training or whatever, and by the end of this book, she ends up manipulating Cress's mistress, manipulating her, and making her jump off the building. Now, Cinder does not like to do that to people. She does not like to use her gift because she feels like she's gonna become Queen Lavanna, and she does not want that. And it kind of sucks for her. She needs to make a decision. Should she do it or should she not? But in the end, she's gonna have to, because that's the only way she can dethrone Queen Lavanna. And her plan, I think, is to go to Lunar and try to tell him, oh, I'm Princess Celine, you know, and I need followers or whatever. So that's gonna happen. Honestly, I'm really in love with this series, and I'm hoping to get the next book. I really do want the next book. I haven't been excited for a book in quite a while. It's been a while since I read anything or actually pay attention to things. I think it's since my boyfriend got me the Xbox, I haven't been able to pay attention to a book. And right now he's got me watching Dragon Ball Z. Honestly, I'm getting really into it. I really didn't like the Frieza saga. I know a lot of guys that like the Frieza saga, but I guess I just didn't pay attention much. But I'm liking the Cell saga because, you know, Cell is fucking powerful. And then freaking Goku starts to, like, I'm excited to see him go Super Saiyan 2. My favorite character is Vegeta because he is so prideful that you can, like, freaking tease him about it. It's so funny. Yeah. I'm going on a rant. Oh, I might be putting up a video. Oh, I am gonna put up a video. Next week is spring break, and I'm having my best friend over for the whole entire week. And I'm hoping to get her, you know, when we start talking, we talk. So, like, amazingly. So, hopefully gonna do a video with her. I'm excited, and I really do miss her. So on that note, I will leave you guys. I'm gonna continue watching Dragon Ball Z. I should rewatch that episode, but I'm not. Shh. Peace, guys.